Everyone has been asking, when is episode 2 of Steel Ball Run coming out? I have the same question. I'm here to try and answer that question based on the information we have on hand. Right now, there are 3 ways this could pan out. Weekly releases, batches, and whatever and whenever Netflix feels like it. And today, we're going to be talking about that last option. It doesn't help that there are so many different sources out there hinting at different things. What we do know so far is that the schedule Netflix has posted does not include Steel Ball Run this week. There's also the interview with the director talking about episodes not being finished. I'm sure you already know about those. There is the deleted TikTok comment from Netflix Chile that was circulating around at 1.2. We will probably get more information on March 28th from a special event at Anime Japan. But before that, I have a personal theory that may be a possibility based on different pieces of information. What if the whatever and whenever Netflix feels like release schedule was a weird hybrid between 2 formats in the structure of a special batch release? I'm going to call it a stage release for now, since the current episode is called First Stage and is the entirety of the first stage. That doesn't necessarily mean they're going to release it stage by stage for all 9 stages though. It's a possibility, but let me go over what I mean by stage releases first and why I think this theory has more merit than at first glance. If you have a better name for it, let me know in the comments. While weekly is the format that's best for the community, will it happen with Netflix holding the exclusive streaming rights? Even with the quote-unquote new information, I still lean towards Netflix giving us a batch release. But what if this batch release was a stage release I was talking about? So what exactly do I mean by that? Well, we know the race itself has 9 stages and the first episode is the first stage. What if, as a gimmick, the episodes are released in small batches at different intervals? One of the main concerns I see is the length of some of the stages, but I'll get into that in a little bit. Let's just use the assumption that this release schedule will release each stage at different intervals. Again, it might not be like this exactly, but this is just to simplify things and keep everyone on the same page. But think about it. This is almost like getting weekly releases, but still satisfying Netflix's business model. In fact, I would go as far to say that a stage release would be the spiritual successor to Jojo Fridays under current circumstances. I'm sure we're all familiar with the concept of Jojo Fridays, but to catch those up who've never experienced it, it's basically the community getting excited about the newest episode and posting memes and having discussions about it. The last time this happened was for the release of Part 5 in 2018. And then we all know what happened with Part 6 and batch releases. For some of the newer fans, they never got to experience Jojo Fridays. And to be honest, I only started getting into the series when Part 5 was airing, so my attachment to Jojo Fridays wasn't as strong as those who have been following the anime since the earlier parts. But with the first episode of Steel Ball Run, although it wasn't on a Friday, it felt the same as it did years ago. All of us discussing one single episode and making memes about it. Everybody was on the same page. People were looking forward to the next episode the following week. Nobody was 10 episodes ahead like when the first batch of Stone Ocean dropped. Many people avoided discussion boards or various online media because they didn't want to get spoiled. It's one of the reasons why people did not like this format, and for good reason. With stage releases, it keeps the amount of episodes released lower, thus alleviating the problem with the 13 episode batches. I brought up earlier that some of the stages are shorter in length, and that's fine. This again will make it closer to the weekly format. Stage 1 is on the shorter side of the stages in terms of length, so there might be other stages with only 1 or 2 episodes, and some stages with many more. Compromises have to be made. We can't expect Netflix to abandon their business model with batch releases. This is all under the assumption we get more information on how frequently they release, which again, I'm hoping will be addressed on the 28th. I understand there are those out there who do not want a stage release due to the stage links that I just talked about. But tell me you didn't get the same feeling of a Jojo Friday when the first episode was released. I think a part of the problem is the uncertainty people feel not knowing when the next batch drops, and I'm with you on that. And it's fine if you don't like the stage release format. That's why we all can't wait for the event on the 28th. But I hope by me showing how stage releases can have a lot of parallels to Jojo Fridays, you can see that it might not be all bad if this does happen. So now that I explained what this special batch release could look like, why does this theory have merit? There are 2 reasons. Remember that director interview I mentioned at the very beginning of the video? As he has stated, the process of animating an episode is no easy task, especially for an episode that's double the length of a regular one. The director said that production is going smoothly and he's looking forward to the finished episode as much as we are. I couldn't find the original transcript in Japanese, so I don't know for sure the context, but it seemed a little bit weird to refer to the future episodes in a singular form. My guess is that they're working on multiple episodes to be released together just like they did for Part 6. Think about it. Almost every anime series with a weekly release animate the episodes week by week. This is how most animation studios are run. The episodes are animated as the show airs. So theoretically speaking, if the show were to be weekly, then they should adhere to the weekly deadline like the other productions out there. Endeavor Productions is no stranger to weekly releases. Fire Force Season 3 is a weekly show that they are producing right now. But because they aren't a big studio, that's probably one of the reasons why there's a delay in the release and the usage of CGI greatly increasing from previous parts. There's also precedent both in the anime industry and with Netflix when it comes to special batch releases. Let's talk about the anime industry example first. Attack on Titan did batches for their last set of episodes. For those who don't remember or did not know, the last 7 episodes were originally made into 2 batches, Special 1 and Special 2. It wasn't until later that they got episodic releases. As for Netflix, I brought it up in my last video and it's relevant again here. Stranger Things Season 5. The final season was separated into 3 batches of different lengths, 4, 3, and a double-length finale on its own. Season 4 of the show also saw 2 batches with different lengths. They aren't like the 13 episodes distributed evenly in 3 batches like Stone Ocean. But Wong Diggity, Netflix doesn't control Endeavor Productions nor the series as a whole. Jojo is technically under Warner Brothers. Well, considering Netflix acquired the exclusive streaming rights to Steel Ball Run, don't you think they have some sort of agreement with all the parties about the scheduling of the show? They obviously were able to influence the release schedule, otherwise Part 6 wouldn't have been in batches. Does that mean Netflix would adhere to a stage release like how I described, or match Stranger Things exactly? No. Remember, I'm just calling it that for simplicity. The details will probably come up very soon. And who knows, I could very well be wrong about this whole situation. But people have been wondering, and there are pieces of information out there that fits this theory. I want people to know that this could be a thing. At the end of the day, a theory is a theory, so take what I've said with a grain of salt. I will be looking forward to a pseudo Jojo Friday whenever a new quote-unquote stage comes out. What do you guys think of this theory? Do you see it happening, or did I burn down the malevolent kitchen? Let me know in the comments below. Until next time, Wong Diggity out.